Hey, so in the spirit of taking you along with the development of my channel, I bought a new camera and I'm going to be testing it out today. It's a new GoPro Hero Black, a GoPro Hero9 Black, and this is it right here. And I got a head strap for it so that I can take you along and possibly get some better video footage in the woods while I'm throwing knives and just hiking. And just so you know, if you want to subscribe, I'm going to be taking some trips to and going into some other wooded areas, some other conservation areas and parks around where I live and beyond, exploring new areas, possibly throwing some knives, and also kind of doing reviews of the areas if you want to visit them. But today is really about just testing this camera, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the settings as I'm doing my hike, and I'm going to call out what the settings are so that you and I can both see the difference. I won't see it until I get into the edit, but you'll see it when you watch the video, obviously. So right now I'm just shooting with my phone. It's a Galaxy S9, and that's what I've been using for all my previous videos, but we're going to make the switch to this, and today's the test. Alright, so usually, as you know, if you've watched my other videos, I always enter here, but I'm going to turn this thing on. Just hit the button on the side, power it on. There we go. I think we're in business. So to start recording, you just hit that top button, and we're just going to do it. Then I'm going to throw it on my head. Whoops. I'm still, just so you know, this is going to be a little painful because I'm still fiddling with the with figuring it out. I did mess around with it last night, so I have a really vague idea of how this thing works. There we go, video. And then to record, we hit the button on top. Okay, so this is going to be cinematic. First thing we're going to do is, actually, let's do standard first. Then we'll do the cinematic 4K. So we're going to do standard 1080p first. All right, so record. There we go. Making the switch. All right, here we go. Hopefully it's recording. It says it is. All right, so we're in standard mode, 1080p. So it's HD. It's HD video, but it's just 1080p as opposed to 4K. This is totally new and cool. My battery's at about 70%, and I bought a 64 gig. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm sure it's recording audio, but we'll have to see how the audio sounds. But I bought a 64 gig SD card, so that's about 4 or 5 hours of video. I wanted to make sure I had enough video for my tattoos, so when I do tattoos, they usually go about 4 to 5 hours. So I wanted to make sure that I could capture an entire tattoo job for my future time-lapse tattoo videos that I'm gonna do. All right, we're gonna warm up on this log here. So usually when I have my camera, when I have my phone camera, it's easy to just start and stop the video or the recording. But for this one, it's not. I have to pull it off my head and keep. So I'm just gonna be recording everything. All right. So this is what this log looks like in standard 1080p. I'm gonna switch. All right. So this is activity mode, which is 2.7K, and then there's the 4K. Mosquitoes are out today. All right, we're gonna switch to super wide. I'm still on activity mode, so that's 2.7K, and I switched it from linear to, this is super wide. There's linear, wide, and super wide, and there's a couple other ones, but right now I'm on super wide. And we're gonna go check out the frogs. We're gonna do our usual thing. See if these frogs are still hanging around. I don't see them, but it doesn't mean they're not there. They're pretty good at camouflaging. All right, well, we won't waste too much time here. We'll just move right along. I'm actually gonna wanna come over here and just film the stream to see what it looks like. So I'm still in activity mode, 2.7K. And we're on super view, which is just a really wide angle. Okay, so this is what the GoPro looks like in the tripod that I was using for my phone. And I figured out that it actually holds the GoPro as well. So now I'm taking a video of a video. I'm videoing myself videoing with my phone. So anyways, I just wanted to show you how that fits in there, and now I'm going to wrap these arms around this tree branch. All right, so this is also a bit of an audio test. So I just want to say a few words. I'm only about maybe 2 feet away from the GoPro, so this is what it sounds like at about 2 feet away. I'm gonna say a few words about 8 feet away. So I'm about 8 feet away now, and I just wanted to hear how this sounds. This is more or less an audio test, and I'm basically just rambling on to test my own audio. But this is about 8 feet away. I'm going to do my 3 spin throws at the 3 different distances, and then I'm going to continue on with my no spin practice. All right, so this is cinematic mode. So cinematic 4K. One thing I just noticed is when you're in 4K cinematic mode, some of the options disappear. The horizon leveling boost function disappeared when I went to 4K, so it's just not there. And it's either because it just does it automatically or it's not available. But we'll see. See how different these shots look. I noticed on the GoPro, you can't really pause. I didn't see, at least, I haven't seen a pause button where you can pause the recording, but you basically just stop the recording, start a new one. So whatever, it doesn't really matter. You just end up with more video clips that you just string together in your editing suite, which is fine. Not a big deal. So I'm just doing the usual thing here that I normally do because I want to see how different it looks now with this new camera. All right. We're still in 4K cinematic view. I'm gonna throw at this tree for a little bit, and then I'm gonna switch it to a different setting, just so we can see how the same shot looks. Okay, so we'll do standard mode for a few minutes and then we'll do the activity mode again. Right now it's in standard HD, so that's 1080p. Alright, well today's less about knife throwing and more about testing this camera out, so this is back to activity mode. Activity mode, so it's 2.7K I think. Yeah, you can't switch modes while the camera's on. We're in cinematic mode, which is 4K, and it's on linear. "4K cinematic mode." And now I'm getting a little concerned about the battery life on these things, because it's got the front and back camera, so that probably does drain quite a bit more of the battery. But if I bought a 64 gig SD card, which gives me about 4 hours of video, 4 to 5 hours of video, but the battery only lasts an hour, it's not fantastic. So we'll see how that goes. I'll report back about that. Okay, so I'm trying to hurry up before this battery dies, test a few more settings, so I'm going to change it again. Okay, so I put the camera on standard HD, 1080p. There's 3 settings. There's standard, activity, and cinematic. So right now it's on standard, and I have it on narrow. So aside from those 3 settings, there's other settings that are basically your camera angle, so it's how wide the camera is, and they go narrow. And then there's 2 linear ones with different horizontal, horizon leveling settings. So it's like narrow, 2 linears, and then wide and super wide. So what this is on is basically the lowest of everything. It's on standard HD with narrow lens. So that's what this looks like. I'm gonna throw some knives if the battery continues to last. Okay, that almost hit the camera. Would not have been good. That would have been a true test of how tough these GoPros are. I'm gonna end this soon because I would like to do a closing. All right. Well, we're gonna go out on a high note. I got all 3 of those in. That's how my tripod attaches to the trees. These things are so handy. If you're shooting in the woods, they're a must-have. Like, you gotta have it, and really anywhere. Even in the city, you can wrap them around a. You could wrap them around a city, like a street sign or something. But that's it for today. I'm gonna end this video before the battery dies on me. But I'm gonna keep it running actually until I get home, just to see if it does die or if it keeps. Because right now it looks like I got a sliver left. There's a red light flashing, and it's yellow. So before the battery dies, I'll just say goodbye. And if you like these videos, today was kind of a half-assed review of this Hero GoPro 9 Black, but just kind of doing it you know, not a professional review, just me sort of goofing around with my new camera. But anyway, if you like these videos, feel free to subscribe, because I'm going to be going out and reviewing some other areas, checking out some other conservation areas and really nice, beautiful areas. All right, so just for my own testing, I might not add this to the video, but I might. This is cinematic on linear. Cinematic on linear, and it's got horizon leveling. So I'm tilting the camera, and the horizon stays the same, which is pretty cool. The horizon stays horizontal, essentially. There's another one that's called linear horizontal leveling, but what it does is it pops the horizon, and it's not a smooth effect. It pops the horizon. When you turn the camera, it doesn't move the horizon until you get to a certain point, a certain angle, and then it pops it back into place, into a horizontal position. So this is smooth horizontal leveling with cinematic 4K in the linear mode. So I'm just sort of walking back and forth and testing this out.